Dear Future Enoch, this isn't news as of the time of this recording, but the company I work for got acquired. So the long and short is that it's a bigger company, an international company actually, and I didn't want to say too much about it because a lot of details were being worked out back when the acquisition was announced, and still a lot of questions to be answered. But a lot has changed, and I wanted to look back at one of my previous videos, more specifically a video that I made earlier this year, and reflect on how it's changed. I mean, that's the whole point of this video series, right? It's a series of videos addressed to my future self, and this video is definitely addressed to me. To be honest, I don't actually watch the videos I make, which is a habit I should break, but let's take a look. Dear Future Enoch, a couple of months ago, I was lamenting about how I recently lost my job, but still hopeful that things would ultimately turn out well. And then a week later, I found a job that was both permanent and full-time. I didn't want to say too much about it at the time, just to avoid disappointment. But it's been 4 months, still working here, and I'm happy to say that I passed probation. Unceremoniously, but still something I'm incredibly grateful for. Like, for the past couple of years, all I really wanted was a job that was stable and permanent. Even if it was just part-time and without benefits, it would have been nice to have a job that didn't have a ticking time bomb strapped to the contract. And while with my current job, I still kind of wish I had an office that I had the option of going into. I'll take what I have, which is not having to commute and saving a lot of time. And money. Not anymore, because this company has 11 offices around the GTA, and I'm expected to commute 3 days a week, starting in September, but I do have to go into the office tomorrow, so if I look disheveled and unshaven, it's because who needs to shave when you're working at home? I'll shave tomorrow morning before going to work, but the long and short is that I'll no longer be working exclusively from home. Which I'm surprised to say because I do work better in person. I am more focused, but working from home for the past several months now, 9 months actually, I kind of like it. Mostly due to the fact that I can save a lot of money not having to commute, and I've kind of taken advantage of those savings. So, I'm gonna be poor. Anyways. I mean, today is a great day not to have to go out. Do you want to see what it's like outside today? I'll show you what it's like outside today. It's 28 degrees and sunny, and while it is a bit breezy, it's a nice day, hands down. So passing probation has meant that I finally get health and dental insurance, which is fantastic. The weekend after I lost my job, I had to go to the dentist to get fillings, and it was $400. Nothing stings more like being freshly unemployed than being freshly unemployed and stuck with a massive expense. I'm grateful that 2024 has thus far started out on a positive note, even if I had a bit of a rough start with a rough New Year's excursion. Should I mention the abscess I got a month later? Actually, no, let's not mention that. Again, I'm not really looking to get rich or anything. All I want is a stable, secure job that provides enough to support myself and have some left over for savings and for recreation. I know people have all sorts of opinions about careers. For some, a career is their life. For me, a career is a part of my life. I actually wanted to record a video about this, mostly because I save for my future self, and since this video series is addressed to my future self, I thought it would be an appropriate conversation topic. But the point I want to make is that the reason why I want a stable and secure job is for my older self, but I also want a job that doesn't interfere with life so that my present self can continue to live life to its fullest. After all, I am 26 now, and very soon I'll be 62. Just have to flip the numbers around. A couple of years ago, I helped an elderly concussion patient clean up his apartment and rearrange his workspace and gather his books. He was trying to rebuild his life and re-enter the workforce after 10 years of treatment. I actually reached out to him about a year ago, but he hasn't responded, and as far as I can tell, he hasn't actually re-entered the workforce yet. Maybe I should try harder. Excruciating pain that required him to be prescribed a joint a day. Doctor's orders. He wasn't rich and, in fact, was struggling a little financially, but he wasn't ultimately concerned about money. He put it this way: I work to live. I don't live to work. His work brought food to the table and paid the bills. But it didn't define him. He had a life outside of work that he could enjoy. Yes, he liked his work, and yes, his work was important. He's a psychotherapist and a former chaplain. The last time I checked, his psychotherapist license was actually revoked for inactivity, so I have a feeling he hasn't re-entered the workforce yet. Maybe I should reach out to him. Maybe I should call him. 2 jobs where you deal with people at their absolute worst and try to pick up the pieces of their life and help them put it back together. When he got the concussion, he was unable to go to work, but he didn't stop being himself. And when I was in his apartment, picking up the pieces of his broken life and trying to put it back together, he was lively and bubbly, pain subdued by the THC, and he was telling me about his life before the concussion. How, after a long day's work at the clinic, or a long day's work at the hospital, he would take time off and enjoy it. He went on vacations, traveled to different countries, showed me a chandelier that he bought from the Czech Republic shortly after the Iron Curtain came down. I grew up in a family that basically never went on vacation. I know this whole stereotype about how Asians don't go on vacation. It's not a stereotype. But I have genuinely never felt compelled to book time off for a vacation. I'm hoping I can change that. I actually have a lot of vacation plans planned for this year and also next year. Well, not so much plans, but just dreams. One can dream. But I should probably clarify what the vacation approval process is at this new company. Those were things that his job enabled him to do by providing the money for it. He didn't work for money's sake. He worked because money lets you do things. Money is a means to an end. He worked because he needed to live. In no way was he downplaying the importance of his work, but he was saying work wasn't everything in his life. And he made sure not to allow work to consume his life. Fortunately, I have an incentive to take vacations at this job because at this company, vacation time doesn't roll over into the new year. I think that policy has changed, but there's just so much paperwork to go through that I actually haven't really been able to confirm this. But I think at this new company, vacation time does roll over. Good to know. As the battle cry goes, use it or lose it. Maybe that's a good thing. My family's not one to do vacations. Maybe I'll be the one to change that. Future Enoch, I'll see you next week. So yeah, that was a look at a previous video that I made. And wow, there's a lot of it still relevant. Good job, past Enoch. Of course, this Enoch is only like 5 months removed from present Enoch, so not a whole lot of time for opinions to change. We'll see in 30 years how this opinion has helped, or maybe didn't help. This one's for you, future Enoch. I'll see you next week.